Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody to Con Ganas, GOTV, Latino GOTV rally for 2020. I'm here with Bianca Garcia, Secretary of the Travis County Democratic Party. My name is Ed Espinoza. I'm the Vice Chair of the Travis County Democratic Party. And here with all of our Latino leaders from Travis County, not all of them, so many of them though. And look at all this. I just love all of the melanin on the screen right now. don't see it too much around Travis County all the time, but some of the time it's beautiful when we do. Bianca, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, this is just really exciting. I think it's great to see the breadth and the depth of Latino leaders we have, all the way from school board to district court to those of the candidates we have today running for the Texas Supreme Court. It is really exciting that we have such a wide range of Latinos in every part of our local government, and hopefully our state government, fingers crossed. And so let's just get fired up. Let's get excited. We've got a really big opportunity to make our mark on the state, and I think we're in a good position to make history.
And, you know, we got to say this in 2018 for the first time in a while. We get to say it again in 2020, but isn't it a great time to be a Democrat in the state of Texas? I mean, really, it's always a great time, but it really feels a lot better these days than it used to. And I think that we have a chance to do big things in 2020 because the power of the Texas voter, the power of the Latino voter has never been stronger than it is right now in 2020. We got a chance to not only prove it, but to flex on it. And I think that we're going to make that happen this year. Okay, so with that, we got a tight schedule and a lot of folks to bring in. So I think, is this where we go to our first speaker, Bianca?
I think so. Let's get it started.
Okay, our first speaker is current council member and soon to be Travis County attorney, Delia Garza. Delia, welcome. Love to hear you say a few words. Take it away.
Yay. Well, thank you. So excited to share this space with our amazing Latino electeds. And so excited about this election. I wanted to give a couple of few statistics about Latinos and the power that we have. So I'm going to read those really quick. There are almost 11.5 million Latinos in Texas. To put that in perspective, there are 43 states in this country with total populations less than 11.5 billion. So there are more Latinos in Texas than there are total 43 states. So if Texas Latinos were their own state, we would be the 8th largest state in the United States. And so I want us to think about the power that we have as Latinos, especially in 2022. We are expected to be no longer a minority in Texas. And we need so desperately to get all of our family and all of our friends, as many people, your neighbors, out to the polls. We have so much collective power if we show up. We can turn Texas blue alone by the Latino vote. So all of us are so incredibly proud of our heritage. It was great to be able to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month last month, but we're also very proud of our American heritage, right? And the power that we have. Lastly, I want to thank the Travis County Democratic Party for supporting Proposition A. Yay. I firmly believe that Proposition A embodies our values as Democrats, and that's helping others, investing in our community, fighting climate change, and let us not fall for the Republican tactics of it costs too much, let's not raise taxes. Those are Republican tactics of false information. Let us value truth and facts in Travis County. Support Proposition A, support, of course, all your Democratic candidates. Thank you for this opportunity to be here. And I look forward to seeing you at the polls.
All right, thank you very much. That was awesome. Prop A, and of course, I've got my Prop B sign right here, which is the the green mobility, which is walking and biking element that complements Prop A and the rail system. Bianca, I'm going to hand it back over to you for our next speaker. And thank you, Councilmember Garza.
And it looks like we have a trend going on, which I'm kind of loving. We have another Garza up on deck. And I'm sorry in advance because I'm introducing a lot of lawyers and it's really hard to cut the intros and the bios because you geek out on lawyer stuff when you're a lawyer. So let me just tell you a little bit about Jose if you don't already know. He began his legal career with a federal district clerkship in a federal district court in the District of Columbia. He returned to Texas to work on the border as an assistant public defender at the Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid and later serving as an assistant federal public defender in the Western District. He went back to DC where he served as deputy general counsel on the House Committee on Education and Labor, later worked as special counsel to the National Labor Relations Board, and eventually served as a senior policy official at the US Department of Labor. And most recently, he served as the executive director as the Workers' Defense Project. He is our candidate. He's our nominee for Travis County District Attorney. And Jose and his wife, Kate, and their 2 young children are proud to call Austin home, and we're proud to have him on the ballot. Jose?
Bianca, thank you so much. I mean, you make it sound like I can't keep a job. Well, but I'm really, really grateful to be with you and to be with Ed and to be with this incredibly powerful group of Latino leaders here in Travis County. As Bianca said, my name is Jose Garza and I'm running to be your district attorney because right now in this moment, our public safety is on the ballot and it is at risk all across this state. Our public safety is at risk because President Trump and Governor Abbott have mismanaged the greatest public health crisis our country has faced in a century. Because of their failures, over 220,000 Americans and over 17,000 Texans have lost their lives. Because of their failures, over 10 million working people have lost their jobs and families are on the brink. And we know who has paid the highest price. It is nuestra comunidad, nuestra gente. We know that Black and brown families are 2 times more likely to die from in this pandemic than their white counterparts and 3 times more likely to get infected. Donald Trump and Greg Abbott have set the stage for an enormous amount of instability in our communities, in our state, and that makes us all less safe. But it doesn't have to be this way. We have the power to fix this. And over the last 10 years, regular Texans just like you have been organizing and showing the power that we have to change in our community and our state. For the last 10 years, members of the Latinx community have been getting elected up and down the ballot. And because of your work, we are on the verge of generational, transformational change all across this state. We are on the verge of electing progressive candidates, members of the Latinx community here in Travis County and throughout the state. So together, if you will reject what you see happening in our community, if you will show up and vote, if you will bring your tia to show up and vote, make sure that your primos show up and vote, we can fix our broken criminal justice system. We can make sure that we have access to affordable and reliable public transportation right here in Travis County. And we can make sure that every American has access to healthcare. We can do this and we will. It's so good to see you all.
It's so weird to get wait for applause on Zoom, right? It's like this new world we're in. Thank you, Jose. And we're I think the next I think this is the Garza block of the evening. Is that right, Bianca? Do we go to one more Garza?
No, I think we're breaking up the Garza block, and I think you're introducing us to my very talented coworker, Denise.
Oh, hey, that's right. Denise, you're in the square below me on my Zoom. Welcome to Con GANAS. Welcome to the rally. And I'm going to hand the floor over to you.
Thank you so much to the Travis County Democratic Party for creating this platform for us to reach out to our Latinx community. My name is Denise Hernandez. I am an assistant district attorney at the district attorney's office and also the founder of Chingona Fest Texas, a Latinx empowerment festival where we celebrate our culture and our community. And I'm here to encourage you to vote, because we're not voting just for ourselves. We're voting for our comunidad. We're voting for our future generations. And most importantly, we are voting for those who cannot vote, for our undocumented populations that need representation. As an LGBTQ Latina, this election is extremely important to me because my right to marriage equality is on the line. And we've already started to see the impacts of how a Supreme Court justice selection can sway the way that our nation moves forward on these court issues. I'm voting in this election is important to me because I think it's necessary for us to protect our immigrant populations. Literally, just hours down the road from Austin, Texas, we have children in cages. We have children that are in facilities where they're exposed to abuse, where they're torn apart from their families. And we know now that a lot of these children have parents that can't be located. While last night during a debate, Donald Trump had the audacity to say that those facilities were enough for our people, for our communities, and they're not. So I encourage you to vote. I encourage you to get your family to vote. I encourage you to get your neighbors to vote. And if there's anyone who says they're not voting, pick them up anyway and take them, because we need every single person to vote. Thank you again to the party for creating this platform, and to all the amazing leaders in this Zoom making a difference.
Thank you, Denise. We're excited to vote. And I think you highlighted all the issues that our community faces, from those undocumented in our community to LGBTQ members. And we've got a lot of work to do to keep people safe. And so next up, the Garza Fest continues with a video by David Garza.
What's up, Tejano Democrats? This is David Garza, and I want to join everybody in Texas that's excited about the election, and I want to give a special shout out to Delia Garza and Jose Garza. Garza's are taking over. Anyway, please check also your Texas voter registration status. And this is a song called I'm Fighting Back, and we all got to fight back this November. Here we go. You can troll and curse, you can cry and complain till your soul turns blue. They tell you choose your battles, but believe me when I say it's the battles that choose you. When each turn of the cheek gives me a new broken jaw, I ain't going down like that. Hey, I'm fighting back. I ain't letting my heart fade to black. Hey, the world's out of whack. We're all under the attack, but I'm fighting back. I ain't been around the world, but I've been around the block, and I've cried a tear or two. Graduated magna cum laude from the school of hard knocks, and I ain't no April 2nd fool. Each new helping hand turns to a slap in the face, but I ain't going down like that. Hey, I'm fighting back. The world's in my heart painted black. Hey, the world's out of whack. We're all under the attack, but I'm fighting back. I ain't pulling no punches, gonna stand my ground. Ain't shucking and jiving, no more clowning around. Gonna shoot for the moon, spread my wings and fly. The only bad ideas are the ones you don't try. Today I woke up with the sun, and for the first time in years I got down on my knees and prayed. And I whispered, thank you God, like some 5-year-old kid. And then the sky turned gray. And as that thunder crashed down, I shook my fist up at the sky and said, you ain't shaking my faith like that. Hey, I'm fighting back, ain't letting my heart fade to black. Hey, the world's out of whack, we're all under the attack, but I'm fighting back. Rock on, Texas. We'll see you in November.
God, I miss live music, don't y'all?
Oh man, and I love to hear him play. You know, last time I saw him was at the Continental Club. I think he was playing with Alejandro Escobedo. This is like in 2010. Feels like it was yesterday. But so blessed to have him with us and play for us. And I'm fighting back. I can't think of better words than that in 2020 right now. And speaking of fighting back, there's somebody else who's been fighting back for us for so long. Somebody who I can't remember when I met George Morales. I just feel like I've always known him. And I think that for those of us who do know him feel the same way. And when I say George Morales, I'm not talking about the park that was recently named George Morales. I'm talking about our constable that everybody loves. And George, Constable Morales, I'm going to hand it over to you. Thanks for being here with us.
Hey, I appreciate it, Ed. So the Travis County Democratic Party, for hosting this, you know, I tell people how we fight in Southeast Austin is we fight for our place at the table. And it's very important this year that we make sure that people are coming out and vote. You know, I did a post on social media. I vote for my family. I vote for my community. But most of all, I'm voting for the people who don't have that voice. And if we as a Travis County Democratic Party cannot be that voice, then we're doing something wrong. But together, Travis County has shown that we are that voice. Together, the Travis County Democratic Party has led that effort. You know, I want to give a shout out to Constable Carlos Lopez and Jackie Aresti and Katie Naranjo. We hosted a Biden sign giveaway. And now it's a beautiful thing driving in my neighborhood, seeing Biden signs everywhere. You know, those are the efforts that are needed in our party. The efforts that are needed in our community is to make sure that, again, you heard it before, you're going to hear it again. Take somebody to vote. Get them out there. Encourage them. You know, my mission is to educate, motivate, and inspire. Educate our community about what's going on. Inspire our kids to get involved. It's all about determination here. We are determined to get this vote out. And with the help of Travis County Democratic Party and our great Latino leaders, we're going to get it done. And I want to thank you guys for having me. I'm George Morales, Constable, Precinct 4. Thanks for allowing me to share.
I feel the same way. I'm like, I have no idea when I met George. Hasn't everyone always known George? But that's actually how I feel about our next speaker, who I feel like I have known forever, because I think that I actually have known her forever. Justice Gisella Brianna has over 24 years of experience on the bench. And one of my favorite facts about her is she has served on every level of the Texas trial courts, which is insane. That's like what a blessing of experience she has. And as a justice on the third court, she hears basically everything, civil and criminal appeals. And before that, she was judge of the 200th Judicial District Court, where I can attest, as having appeared in front of her, that she is fair and deliberate and courteous. And one of my favorite things about appearing in front of her is, even when I lost, because I did, I feel like I learned something, like I grew as an attorney. And I think that that ability to mentor young people is what makes Justice Brianna exceptional. And with our help, she will be the next Texas Supreme Court Justice.
Muchas gracias, Bianca and Ed. Thank you all so much for putting this, and Katie for having us all here. I can't tell you how excited I am to be with mi raza, with mi gente, to get us fired up. We still have, what, 12 more days to vote, or is that 11? Carlos, how many? 11. Thank you, Sophia. 11 days to get everybody out to vote. It is so extremely important that we go vote. We need a voice. And, you know, su voz es su voto. Su voto es su voz. because without it, we are not going to have any control. We're not going to have a seat at the table. I was the first Latina ever to be elected as a district judge. And I'm seeing two right now, Maria Cantu Hexel and Selena Alvarenga, who are joining our district courts this next year. And I'm so proud that we have representation, Latinas and Latinos on the courts. But let me tell you, I'm the only Latin person, Latinx of any stripe, to serve on the Third Court of Appeals. It's ridiculous that in the year 2020, we're still talking about first. If I get elected, I'll be the first Latina ever to be elected from the Democratic Party in the state of Texas. That's crazy and it's ridiculous. But we need to make sure that our gente is represented everywhere. I can't tell you, what the Supreme Court has been doing since the pandemic. This is the court that has told us we can't vote by mail, even though we're not immune to coronavirus. This is the Supreme Court that has rubber stamped every single voter suppression order from the governor or from the Secretary of State or from Ken Paxton. It is so important that we have representation. It's so important that you vote, but not only that you go and you vote, but that you vote that whole ballot. Do not stop at the top, guys. As we all know, we do not have straight party voting this time along. So we need to make sure that you have a plan, that you've got time, that you're going to spend a little bit more time voting, but that you vote straight from all the way from Biden all the way to our propositions, because everybody needs your vote. We are all on, the rising tide brings all of the votes up together, but it can't happen unless todos vamos y votamos. And that means exactly what, everybody's been saying. You take your abuelita, you take your tia, your primos, your neighbors, los vecinos. These are tough discussions to have sometimes, but they're needed. This is the most important election of our lifetime, guys. We need to take back our White House. Decency is on the ballot. Democracy is on the ballot. Justice is on the ballot. How we treat each other and how we allow others to treat us is on the ballot. So without fail, go vote. If you haven't voted, you've got 11 more days to do so. Till October 30th for early voting, and then November 3rd, and make sure everybody has voted. Thank y'all for having us. Once again, I'm Gisella, and I am your Justice on the Third Court of Appeals.
Thank you, Justice. I always get excited when she talks. I want to be her when I grow up.
Thank you, Bianca.
And thank you, Justice. It's nice to see you again. We just had a conversation last week online in a different space. So nice to see you back with us in a different capacity this week.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who is Constable Carlos Lopez. He has been serving in this position since 2012. He's in the 5th precinct. And if you don't know where the 5th precinct is, you have probably drove by his office 100 times on Guadalupe, right over by the county buildings and the county courts. And you've probably cursed the traffic in front of his office. He doesn't have anything to do with that. That's not him. He's involved with much better things. And I'm going to hand it over to him so you can get to know how pleasant he is and how much you should stop in the office and say hi next time. Constable Lopez, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate it. One thing you failed to mention is that I'm right behind the governor's mansion, which I haven't been invited to yet, But no, hey, thank you all for having me. Thank you for the Travis County Democratic Party, Katie, también. It's go time, guys. It really is. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to vote. 11 days left. We started early vote really strong. We want to end early vote really strong. But I got to tell you, I think Denise said, hey, somebody tells you that they don't want to go vote, you go pick them up and you take them to the ballot. Well, some guy just told me he wasn't going to go vote. But I am not going to go pick him up because he's a Republican, so that's okay. So this is what we're going to do. I voted, but I'm going to tell you, I voted because, it's a family tradition with us. It means so much to get out and do your civic duty and vote for the right thing. We're not just voting for people. We're voting for affordable health care. We're voting for respect and equality. We're voting for good paying jobs. We're voting for quality education, folks. Raza, when we go out and vote, don't think it doesn't count. Si cuenta. It really does. It matters. And so I'm gonna tell you something else that if you stand in line, say in Dove Springs, you're over in line on October the 30th, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my band out there and I'm going to play in the parking lot, over there and entertain you while you're in line. And I'm going to invite maybe Selena to go out there and sing. I know Margaret Gomez already said she was going to go out there and sing with us, and maybe Bob Perkins. Who knows? I know Brad's got a guitar, but I don't know, he won't go out there and do it. But listen, guys, it's time that we go out there and vote. And I'll tell you, I'm so proud to be the chair of the Austin Tejano Democrats. I just got voted in August, and I'm trying to do the best that I can to unite folks, to collaborate with folks. And I'll tell you what, we've been collaborating like crazy, with the BAD, with the Blue Democrats, Blue Democrats, Blue Action Democrats. And again, I'm no David Garza, but I'm looking forward to playing for you guys later on. So thank you. And Raza, let's get out there and vote. Thank you.
And Constable, I feel like you just gave Judge Urrutia a call to action. I feel like he needs to get his guitar out and meet you at the polls. And speaking of Judge Urrutia, I think we're going to have some of our district judges and district judge candidates speak to you about why voting is so important. And speaking of Judge Urrutia, his legal career has been spent representing indigent clients, the undocumented and non-English speakers. And as judge of the 450th District Court, he leads one of the most progressive courts in the county, with amongst the lowest pretrial incarceration rates and with defendants waiting the least time in jail for a trial. And as a veteran himself, he also helps administer the Veterans Diversion Court, and he started the Felony DWI Diversion Court. And to speak with him is candidate Maria Cantu Hexel, who's a South Texas native and the daughter of 2 school teachers. Over a 24-year legal career, she's practiced in small plaintiffs' firms, litigated as an assistant attorney general, and led on complex civil litigation with a concentration in healthcare at a major law firm, which I can tell you that is very amazing, difficult, and probably one of the only Latinas in the room most of the time. She's practiced law with virtually every level of our courts and has real courtroom experience. But my favorite fun fact about her is she was PTA president for Becker Elementary, my alma mater, go Bobcats. And also joining Maria Cantu Hexel is Selena Alvarenga. Selena grew up in El Salvador in the 1970s. As a child, her and her father fled the country, leaving the horrific brutality of the Civil War there. When she was in law school, she became a US citizen. She's a former director of the Austin Criminal Defense Lawyers Association and the current board member of the Austin Bar LGBTQ Association. And I can personally attest that she's a zealous advocate for the accused and works tirelessly to make the community better. And with the help of Travis County Democrats, she's going to be the next judge of the 460th District Court. And I really wanted to highlight the qualifications that we have on our judicial benches. So, ladies and gentlemen, 3 of our district judges and soon to be district judges.
All right, who's going first? Maria, you want to go first?
No, you go first, Judge. You're the sitting judge.
Yeah,
that's right.
But I was late because I had to pick up Charlize from dance, and I got to take a kid to band. It's like the pandemic. There's no rest for anybody. No, but first of all, no one wants to hear me sing. Okay, nobody wants to hear me sing. Nobody. That's Selena and Carlos. They did a great job. But look. We all know the importance of voting this cycle. I mean, I don't know that it really has to be said, other than if you have to go out and pick up your tia who votes every now and then only when she wants to vote for you or something like that, or you have to pick up 3 or 4 people who wouldn't socially distance, right, in a mask and all that, and make them go vote. I mean, it's so important. It's a stark contrast. When you see last night at the debate and you hear the difference between Joe Biden and President Trump, it is such a stark contrast. And really, I think the most important reason to go vote is because aren't you just tired of hearing about, and it's not just this president, right? Like tired of hearing this guy about this guy every day. And it's not like you can have a life and without going, what is he going to do or say today? Like, what is he going to tweet today? Even our Republican presidents that we've had, right, were normal people. We disagreed 100% probably most of the time, but at least they were normal, loved this country, They were wrong, but they love this country, right? This guy only loves Donald Trump. I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm saying it. He only loves Donald Trump. And I just want to have a normal day. I just want to get back to where I can see my dad whenever I want to, or go to a restaurant, or go and meet George and have a beer somewhere. I mean, you just can't do that because there is no plan for how to get this country past where we are right now. So that's all I have to say about that. I will say this, though. I am so excited to see these two women that are going to come in. I mean, we had Judge Triana until she went and graduated and went to be a big time judge. Now it's just me and a couple. But it's so great to see these two Latinas that I just have so much respect for. Katie says it's time, but I'm giving props to Maria and so it doesn't really contradict me. But I'm so proud of them, and I'm so excited to have them there. Selena, I'll get to see all the time, but I know, Maria, you're going to do great things too. So that's it. I'm out, Katie. There you go.
Maria?
Well, I guess I'll go next. I was going to say I can verify that I do have the Garza name in my family, but that's probably like every other Latino in this group, right? You know, we're all connected. And thank you for allowing me to join. I cannot tell you how proud I am to be amongst this group. It is time to con ganas, get out there and do it. And I would say, you know, when you talk to people about voting, talk to them about voting up. You know, be prepared at the bottom of the ballot to know the candidates that you need to vote for, because obviously those are the folks that affect our everyday life. And yeah, that, you know, a lot of attention gets paid to the top of the ballot, and it should, but people should be voting all the way up and down that ballot. And know what your local electeds, who they are, and what they do. I am so proud to be the judge-elect in the 53rd Judicial District Court and to join the few of us that are on the district court bench that are Latinos. I am so proud that the campaign I ran was not just about my qualifications, but about the representation that I could bring to this bench. I am a proud Latina, and I'm happy to talk about it with anyone and everyone. And so, vámonos con ganas. Let's go. Selena.
Gracias, María. Hola, mi gente. ¿Cómo están? I am Selena Alvarenga, and I am going to be the first elected gay Latina immigrant to the bench here in Travis County, to the 460th Criminal District Court. And I mean, I don't know about you all, but if hearing our so-called president during the debate yesterday, how he referred to Latinos, to immigrants, if that doesn't make you want to get out there and vote, I don't know what will. You know, we need to get more people that look like us, you know, brown, and, you know, that share our values and that understand what our issues are, ranging from immigration, of course, to criminal justice reform. You know, I've been a criminal defense attorney for over 24 years, working along with Judge Urrutia for a long time, you know, and that it's not a secret that our people are disproportionately affected by our criminal justice system. So we need people on the bench. We need people at all levels of government that understand that and that are willing to do something about it to change it. So we need to get out there and vote. This is the year where, you know, our lives literally depend on us getting out there and making a change. So yeah, definitely you have 11 more days. Get out there, exercise your civic duty. And Carlos, I will definitely be there with you, and we'll sing and we'll entertain you. But get out there and vote. Su voz es su voto.
Thank you. And I believe that we have Judge Martinez Jones, who has joined us to round out our district court judges who are here. Judge Martinez Jones is an associate judge in Travis County, and she'll soon take the bench of the 120th District Court. She presides over the child welfare docket, and she will continue to do that as district court judge. She is a first-generation American and the daughter of 2 immigrants. And I can say, as someone who's also practiced in her court, her compassion is contagious. And I know she's going to do a great job, or continue to do a great job with the child welfare docket. So, Judge, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Can you tell us why it's important to vote and why you're excited to vote in this election?
Absolutely. I'm just grateful to be here and having this conversation because voting is so important. I know I've been doing so many presentations lately, and now that we're on this virtual platform, it's really easy to get people on board and together to talk about important issues. But I want to share one of the important reasons for voting is something that I discussed on one of the recent panels. As we were getting new information, particularly about children and families in our community, we saw some disparities here in Travis County, especially as it relates to our Hispanic children. The population of Hispanic children in the child welfare system at this point is 54%. And that's very disproportionate, and it's increased recently. And whenever I was on a recent panel and we were talking about what can people do about this and what about those judges that don't understand the impact and the judges who aren't listening to be culturally responsive, how can they get better outcomes in those courts? And what I told them was, in Texas, fortunately, right now we have the power to vote for those judges. So people need to vote all the way down their ballot. They need to take a look at the judges who are running for those positions that are going to have such large impacts on the community, especially like our child welfare dockets, and make sure you know what those judges are about and that they understand the needs of the community so that they can come to the bench with the philosophy of being culturally responsive to support the children and families who are being impacted by the decisions that are made every day. So that's definitely one of the reasons I have definitely been sharing over all the platforms that I can virtually about why it is so important to vote, especially on judicial races.
Thank you, Judge. And I can't wait for you to take the bench. It's going to be great. Thank you. Sophia?
Thank you, Bianca. I want to thank all our viewers for joining us today and thank our candidates for speaking with us. My name is Sophia Garcia. I am the TCDP's Coordinated Campaigns Deputy Field Director. A bit of background about myself is I began organizing at 19. I graduated from the University of Texas at Austin, and I'm from La Puente, California, which is way out in East LA. And if you ask me why I organize, I tell you that when Donald Trump was elected, I could not sit still. I was one of those 18-year-olds who was protesting in the streets 4 years ago, even though I had no business being alone that late at night. Coming from a family of 4 daughters, from a family of proud immigrants, I'm enraged at the culture of hate and bigotry which our current president has amplified. We cannot let him reduce our community with his ignorance, and we cannot let him disrespect our elders and all the toils they have gone through so that we could have better lives. This year, the power to change that lies in our hands. Like we saw in the California presidential primary this past March, youth Latino turnout can be a key winning factor in the election if we take the steps to meet them halfway. Our ideals as Democrats are tested true when we extend them to folks who may feel like the Democratic Party has not truly invested in them. It is up to us to extend that hand. There are only 11 days left, as every candidate has pretty much said. I hope I can count on you to join us for a phone bank next Monday and the following Monday so that we can reach voters under 40 and we can contact as many young Latinos as possible. If you do want to sign up, you can find our signups at travisdems.org/vol, and please vote. Take your loved ones with you.
Looks like we've also started a Garcia Fest, which I am all here for. And my dad did text me to make sure that I said that my maternal grandmother's maiden name was Garza. So I can join in, like Maria plugged as well.
Wow. You're pulling like the Garza caucus and the Garcia caucus here.
Yeah.
That's a lot of votes. A lot of votes in this room. Sophia, man, La Puente? I'm from Long Beach.
Really?
Right down the 605. I got a speeding ticket in La Puente once. That's how close it is to home. So nice to see us all finding our way to Texas. And it's just, I love seeing everybody here. And my leadership Austin classmate, Judge Aurora Martinez Jones, and then everybody else here that's had a chance to speak. It's just so inspiring to see everybody come together, to see the enthusiasm. And it's been a tough 7 months. but to see everybody's spirits be in a place right now where you seem like you're all in a good place and that we're all optimistic is so important. It's so important to keep that outlook. And one of the people that serves in the legislature that I think has really been a progressive champion and has been really optimistic about things is Representative Celia Israel. And in my other life, my day job at Progress, Texas, you know, Celia Israel was one of the first people we honored at one of our big events. And she's always just been such a good champion. And one of her signature bills that she files every session is a bill for online voter registration. And Texas is one of only like 9 states that doesn't have it. And she's one person that champions that bill, and she champions a whole lot more. So with that, I think that we have a video message from her that we'll transition to. Are we queued up and ready to hand it off to her? Looks like we are. All right.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you to the Travis County Democratic Party. We're almost there. I know everybody's anxious. I'm very anxious. I feel as though history is right around the corner. This is a historic year in Texas politics, and Latinas, make no doubt about it, are on the cutting edge of history this year. We have 12 Latinas in the House right now. What you might not know is that we have 5 Latinas who are running this year in races that are very winnable this November. And that's really exciting. We have 67 Democrats. It's a 150 member body. Change is coming. As you all know, I've always described myself as an Ann Richards Democrat. And what I'm most excited about is going onto that House floor in January and having a House floor that finally begins to look like Texas. It won't quite yet be Texas, but it's beginning to look like Texas. So we have a chance to make history together. I have the honor of chairing the PAC that's responsible for flipping the Texas House. It's called the House Democratic Campaign Committee. I learned early on to never forget where you came from. I'm always proud of my Latina heritage, and especially proud of the fact that I'm from the great American city called El Paso, Texas. I carry the spirit of Amalia and Guillermo with me. My grandparents came to this country to make a better life for their family. We are proud Americans. We are proud Texans. I hope that you feel that same spirit in this most important year as we work hard to get out the vote, tell our story, and make history together. See you at the ballot box. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
I always love to hear Celia speak. I feel like Representative Israel is so great at firing up people. And I know as chairperson of the House Democratic Campaign Committee, she is raising millions of dollars to help flip the Texas House. And she is giving Texas Republicans the biggest fight of their lives. So let's get excited, because I think that legislature might actually start to look like our state, which is really exciting.
Setting records with fundraising to flip the Texas legislature. And that all starts here in Travis County with representatives like Celia Israel. It's just so cool to see.
And I think our Texas delegation, or our delegation to the Texas House, is just full of rock stars. And our next video is from another member of the delegation, Representative Eddie Rodriguez, who represents Central, East, and Southeast Austin. He is the dean, or the senior member of the Travis County delegation, which is pretty cool to have a Latino in that role. And like almost Judge Maria Cantu-Axel, he is a Valley native. So we have some RGV representation, and here to give us some words of encouragement, Representative Rodriguez.
I don't need to tell you why it's so important to vote in this election, but I will. The fact is that there is a lot at stake here in Texas and all the way to Washington, D.C. Our elected officials and politicians are not going to be able to read our minds as Latinos. We have to get out there and demonstrate that we care, and we do that by voting. If if you care about social justice reform, criminal justice reform, our voting rights, which Republicans are trying to take away from us, whether you care about a quality education for all, health care for all, whatever the issue is, the way that our elected officials and our politicians know that you care about those issues is to go out and vote. For many, many years now, decades now, we've all been hearing about this brown wave, the time when Latinos will come out in droves and will make a big difference in the state of Texas, in electing more Democrats, and electing more women, and electing more people of color to the legislature. That time is now. Now is not the time to sit on the sidelines any longer. We have to get out in mass, and we have to get out and demonstrate that we care, and that this is our state, and that we have a place at the table, a big place at the table. I want to speak now to our young Latinos out there. It's important that we get into the habit of voting when we're young, getting out there and showing that you care, and getting to the polling place and exercising your right to vote. And I encourage our younger Latinos out there to get out there and really show that you care. I'm very optimistic about this young generation of Latinos coming out. Very optimistic in the energy that I see out there, in the heart that I know that generation feels. And it's just time to exercise that right. And I encourage you especially to get out there and vote. We need to show that that we want to make a difference, and that we care about this state, and that we're going to get out there and let our voices be heard. So thank you all, and I encourage you to get out there. Voting matters. It makes a difference. Elections have consequences, as we have seen in Washington, as we have seen in the state of Texas for the last 20 years. We are poised to take the Texas House again. I'm excited about that. But that's only going to happen if Latinos all over the state of Texas come out and vote. So thank you.
Thank you. That we're thankful that Representative Rodriguez was able to send a message. I know he's working hard along with the members of the delegation to make sure that State House looks a lot more like the rest of the state. And I believe Sophia has a message for us.
Yeah, thank you, Bianca. And just to reiterate what Representative Rodriguez had said, Texas is neck and neck right now. This is going to be an extremely close race to flip the state. And if I can bring some numbers into the picture, Trump won Wisconsin in 2016 by some 20,000 votes. What is, in field, what does 20,000 voter contacts look like? It looks like 6 days of phone banks. It looks like a week of literature drops, a large weekend of action. We have the means to achieve these numbers, but we can only do it together. So you can sign up with us at travisdems.org/fall and join us for a literature drop. Join us for a phone bank or 5. We have 11 days. Let's do this for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. The Garcia Fest is encouraging you to volunteer. Tomorrow is supposed to be a high, like in the low 70s. There's no reason not to go pick up a lit packet at our downtown location and not knock on some doors. I wish we could knock on some doors. Leave some lit at some doors. I think that we have a big opportunity to make some real change, especially if Travis County votes big. So let's remind our neighbors. They can go vote anywhere in Travis County. This is really exciting, guys.
It's a great time. Like I said, it's a great time to be a Democrat in Texas. It's always a good time to be a Democrat in Travis County. And the thing is really so important is that a lot of times people look at the map and they say, well, Travis County is blue, so I'm going to be okay. But you can't look at it like that. You can't look at it by counties. You got to look at it as the whole, but the whole state. And if we can run up the score in Travis County, that can help our friends in the rural areas who need a little bit of an extra push, because even though the turnout is high in those areas, you know, the Democratic percentage is growing, but we can help them a lot. And that's why your vote is so important this year, is because, like Sophia was saying, the margin can be so thin. There have been like 30 polls in Texas since June. That's more polls than were done in the previous 3 presidential elections combined. That's how close the state is. And it's neck and neck. We got a chance to do it, but it's not about the wave. It's about the work. And the work happens when you show up and you volunteer and you get involved and you give a couple of bucks and you make sure you vote. And like I said a couple times today, you make sure someone goes with you to go vote. So.
Absolutely. And I know we're all, mourning the loss of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and really scared about what's going to happen with our courts. But in Texas, we decide what happens with our courts. And so if we run up the score in Travis County, that helps judges like Judge Triana or Justice Triana become Supreme Court Justice Triana. It helps with our Court of Criminal Appeals, which is the highest criminal court. And so if we care about things like criminal justice reform, if we care about protecting our LGBTQ brothers and sisters, if we care about protecting pre-existing conditions, that's a really easy and tangible way to do it. We got to run up the score, we got to protect the courts, and we have to protect each other. And that does start with the work. It starts with phone calls, it starts with donations, and go to travisdems.org/vol, VOL. Sign up. I want to see you out on the streets, talking to your neighbors, phone calls, whatever you can do. It's go time, y'all. Vámonos.
And remember, you can vote from 7 to 7 any day for a whole week till October 30th, which is next Friday. So anywhere in the whole county, wherever you're at, go vote. And if not, obviously on the 3rd.
And this weekend, a lot of people don't realize that early vote covers weekends, but this weekend is the last weekend of early vote. You could do Saturday and Sunday in Travis County, and the lines aren't as long on weekends. So check it out.
Be a voter. Sea votante. Vaya a votar. Todos.
Listen to the justice. Do what she says. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Adios.
Prop B.